Maverick News, the antivirus program for your mind. And now, the Freedom Reporters.
Let's talk about Tara Reade.
Sure.
And what happened to her. You know, they're calling her leaving the country defection. They're saying she defected to Russia.
And just explain to people who may not remember what her what her connection to Joe Biden has been.
Tara Reade, she was a Senate staffer for Joe Biden back in the early 1990s, worked in his Senate office there in D.C. And she claims, and I believe her, that Joe Biden sexually assaulted her in the office, in the Senate building. I won't go into the details, but I think you guys probably know the story. It's out there if you want to look up how he did it. But he did it. I believe he did it. And the reason I believe that is, number one, I know Tara Reade, and I know she's an honest woman. She's a good woman. She has no reason to lie or make this up. She never wanted attention about this. She's getting all the wrong kind of attention. She doesn't want the government coming after her, and that's exactly what they're doing. What we hear from good sources is that there is a sealed indictment, that the DOJ has a sealed indictment against this woman. Don't know what the heck they're going to charge her with. Probably something similar to what they did to the Uhuru movement. They'll probably say that this whole story about Joe Biden raping her was Russian disinformation. They'll probably say she's sowing discord, or she's an agent of Russia, or God only knows. But that's what you would expect from this Department of Injustice. And, you know, about 2 months ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Representative Matt Gaetz reached out to Tara Reade and asked her to give her story to Congress, to come in and give congressional testimony against Joe Biden. She did, reluctantly. She was not looking forward to rehashing this thing again. You know, she really tries not to talk about it much. Would you, if you were his victim? Of course you wouldn't. She did give her testimony on the record. And then last month, she took a trip to Russia because she has a book out, and she was doing a book tour in Russia. It was just a visit. And while she was there, she was contacted by Representative Matt Gaetz, who said, basically, you better not come home, because if you do, you're either going to wind up in prison or dead. He wasn't threatening her. He was warning her. Mm-hmm. He obviously had some intelligence that disturbed him enough to tell her she was in danger. So at that point, she applied to the Russian government for asylum, for protection, and they granted it. So she is now in the loving arms of Mother Russia, and she's being protected over there from her own government, just like Edward Snowden. And here we are. We live in an America where American citizens are being targeted by their own government if they blow the whistle on waste, fraud, abuse, sex crimes. They are safer in Russia. They're being protected from their own government by our so-called enemy, the Russians. And so she's now applying for citizenship. But here's the thing that breaks my heart, because I know Tara and I love her. And she wasn't planning to move there. Like I said, she just went for a book tour last month. She left everything behind. She had nothing but a week's worth of clothes in her suitcase. She has pets that she loves. She has family back here. She had to leave everything behind. And I don't think she can ever come home. I don't think she can ever come home. And, you know, I expect Robert Kennedy to just fix everything, right? Now that he's running, I'm like, Bobby, you got to fix this. You got to declassify the JFK files. You got to, you know, prosecute Fauci. You got to pardon Snowden and Assange, and you got to do everything. You got to free
End
the
the war.
Uhuru people and end the war and
Yeah.
free the January 6th prisoners. And it's a long list of things that you've got to fix, like immediately on day one. He even said he was going to lift the embargo on Cuba that we've had for 60 years on day one. He's going to have a very busy first day because he's already pledged to free Assange, free the JFK files, and the embargo on Cuba all on day one. It's a pretty tall order for day one. But I'm trying to get his attention on Tara Reade's case also. I hope that he can help her, and I hope that he will at least talk about it. So if he doesn't make it to the White House, just him talking about it would help to bring attention to her case. I feel for her. I don't think she can ever come home. I think she's going to be as stuck in Russia forever as Edward Snowden. And the only person that I think could ever make that right so that she could come home, so that Snowden can come home, is that guy, Bob Kennedy. The stroke of a pen, he could get all the charges dropped, preemptive pardon, and she could come home. And Ed Snowden could come home. And Julian Assange could come home. What kind of world is this? What kind of country is this, Rick?
I was wondering about that actually earlier today, when I look back over U.S. history. The country doesn't have a great track record when it comes to assassinations, actual justice. It's
True.
It's not good. People here in Canada, I'm hearing from certain groups of people that they'd rather have Canada be more like a republic, like we have in the United States. And, we've seen the Lieutenant Steve Rogers SOS campaign where they want the Americans to come to the rescue of Canada. And I'm like,
no, don't do it, man.
Not a good idea.
Don't do it. You'll regret it.
Like, I think you got some problems down there in the United States.
But at least your citizens don't have to run off to other countries to be safe from their own government. I can't think of any Canadian whistleblowers who had to seek asylum somewhere else. I mean, I know that persecution is bad. I know that Trudeau is awful. I know that I know what they did to you guys during the pandemic, but I don't see things quite as bad in Canada as I do in the United States.
We've both got serious problems, and that's just basically the point. It's like if somebody thinks that all of our problems are going to be solved by having the U.S. military intervene and come up here to save Canada, or even try to find some political pressure that they can apply from the U.S. side.
Boy, have I got news for you.
I don't think it's going to help that much.
It's not going to work out quite the way that you think it will. Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for. You might
That's
just get
right.
it.
Like I said earlier, we're going to liberate the shit out of you.
That's right. Like, too much freedom. Stop.
Would you like some more freedom? You want some more
That's right.
freedom? I'll give you some more freedom.
Yeah, the freedom will continue until morale improves.
That's it.
It's all about branding, man. It's like meet the new boss, same as the old boss, just a different brand.
And I'm so tired of it, Rick, because we've had a new boss, same as the old boss, every 4 to 8 years for my entire lifetime. And yet our biggest problems in our society are still not solved. And I'll tell you this. I love watching old footage from the past, old news footage from the 60s, 70s, 80s. And last week, I spent several nights rewatching the 1980 Democratic National Convention. I know, I'm weird, but I was watching it for a reason, because I'm on the Kennedy campaign, and I'm looking forward to the Democratic Convention next year, where I'm pretty sure they're going to screw him like they did Bernie Sanders, and like they screwed Senator Ted Kennedy, his uncle, when he challenged Jimmy Carter back in 1980. And I was watching that, rewatching that. And I thought to myself, I thought back then, I was just a kid, but I thought, even then I could see the trouble our country was in. And I thought maybe Ted Kennedy can fix it. Didn't happen. And ever since, we've had one president after another claiming they're going to fix it. But back in 1980, 43 years ago, we were talking about the Equal Rights Amendment, which has still not been completely ratified to this day. We were talking about so many of the problems that we still haven't solved, like healthcare, national healthcare, the energy crisis, inflation. These are things that have only gotten worse in 43 years. And all of the politicians and all of their promises that they're going to fix it, and somehow they never do. And the problems just get worse and worse, and the whole thing snowballs. Here we are, the year 2023. And I don't know. I'm probably putting too much pressure on Bobby Kennedy to say he can fix it. He can't fix everything. He's only the president. The president can't do much without the Congress. He still has to work within the bounds of the Constitution. The president is not God, and there's only so much that he can do. He's bound by the law. You don't want a dictator, right, who just throws away the Constitution and does whatever he wants, even if he's a kind and benevolent dictator. What if he's a good dictator, right? Like a lot of people in the Soviet Union say that Stalin was a good dictator. 70% of them still think he was the greatest leader they ever had. Mind-blowing to us folks over here. We're like, what? What do you mean Stalin was good? But they think Stalin was pretty damn good. They thought he was a benevolent dictator. But then again, you might have a good dictator today. You might have King Arthur today and Adolf Hitler tomorrow. You give a dictator too much power, it could go either way. And so I know that Bobby Kennedy's our best choice, but I also have to keep myself in check and realize that he can't fix everything, and he can't free everyone, and he can't free every political prisoner, but he could free Tara Reade with a preemptive pardon.
Whatever it is, he's got to be better than this guy. Yeah.
And these cadets, they don't even know what's happening behind them. I love watching the cadets. Biden's falling behind these guys. They're just smiling. They got their, they got their diploma.
Oopsie daisy.
What was that thud?
Yes.
What was that sound?
Sorry there, Joe. Or somebody put some
What's
water
he
there.
pointing
that I
at there? Is it the? See, now I don't know what he tripped over.
They say it was a sandbag, but I don't think it would. Whatever. I don't see a sandbag.
Have that removed.
Yeah.
Have that removed. Too funny.
Off with his head. Find him.
Off with his head.
Yes.
Oh, well, Mr. Walker, thanks for having me and Lisa Peace on the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I did. It was a great show. Very cool interview. I definitely want to get her back on to talk about Howard Hughes. That will be another great show.
So is Howard Hughes one of your subjects of study? It sounds like you know a lot about him.
I've read a couple of books,
mm-hmm.
And just taken note over the years.
It's fascinating character.
Spruce Goose, and it's a fascinating story.
Truly.
And as I say, I think he was the Elon Musk of his time.
That was a perfect comparison.
Yeah.
It truly was. I also see some Donald Trump in him. Like you were saying, he had to have his name on everything. Sort of like Trump. Trump's got to have his brand name on everything that he does.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I see it quite the same way. He didn't want to be president. He wanted to own the presidents.
That's right. Yeah.
Different approach to things. And
he was too shy and reclusive to want to run to be a politician.
Yeah. Even when, in the later years when he needed to appear at, hearings. He had to clean himself up and force himself to go because
Mm.
he had really, he was socially dysfunctional.
Yeah, I heard he would like not shower for weeks or something. He'd like hole up in his penthouse and
Pee in jars.
Mm.
There were stories about him having long hair and super long fingernails and things like
Mhm.
that. But how true some of those stories are, I'm not quite so certain. But he was absolutely a crazy germaphobe. He had serious mental health issues that became more pronounced as he got older and older. And
As geniuses often do, right?
that's right.
I mean, they say there's a fine line between insanity and genius, and
Yeah.
I think the story of Howard Hughes is very indicative of that.
Yeah, I think he was actually. I always thought he was a pretty cool guy because he was fearless and,
Fearless pilot.
yeah, fearless. Movie producer, bought
Mhm.
RKO.
Yeah.
Collected starlets like. I don't have a collection of anything, so except junk.
Well, I'm sure you've
but-
seen Hell's Angels. That's one of the coolest movies ever made.
Yeah, I mean,
Even to
aerial
this day.
sequences shot in that were
Mhm.
unmatched until maybe recent times,
Yeah.
maybe the new Top Gun movie. But you have to consider that back in the 30s, you didn't have, there were film cameras and they were big and heavy, and yet, and he had the largest private air force in the world that he
Mhm.
assembled to shoot that film. So he went out and bought all these old military planes. He owned them all to make the movie, and ended up having his own air force. How cool is that?
Literally. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah.
It's good to be Howard Hughes.
Isn't that
It's good to be
crazy?
the king.
All kinds of crazy
Imagine.
stuff that guy did. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to have my own Air Force too. I used to joke, I used to joke when I had when I had people working here, and I sometimes had co-op students in with everybody, and I would sit around and I would joke and I would say, we're going to have to get our own country, but in order to do that, we're going to need the bomb. And I'd sit and I'd just talk about that.
I remember that time you bought the nuclear codes from some guy claiming to be Donald Trump on the internet.
Yeah, right.
Only later did Rick find out he'd been had.
Oh yeah. So
oh my goodness.
Anyway, I still don't have the country because I still don't have the bomb. But if you know anybody out there who
got nukes for sale,
even the designs, some blueprints or something, so we could, build our own.
You're going to go straight to
nuke.
prison if you keep talking like that.
I know. Well, we're going to have to build like the whole facility out. We're going to have to get an underground bunker built. Could probably do it in my backyard.
Oh,
right. We'll have to build a little reactor back there. It doesn't have to be a really big nuke. It could just be like a little wee one.
Yeah, just enough to keep the authorities out of your damn yard when they come for you.
Don't you come here.
Don't come near
and
me.
Knock on
I
my
have a
door
nuke.
or I'll nuke you. It's like, I'll nuke you. You do not come here. This is I'm a sovereign citizen.
That's
and
right.
You shall not cross the threshold of my property line or I will unleash my mini nuke.
Oh, brother.
And they're like, what?
Yeah. Well, you just baffle them with some, common law legalese bullshit. Maybe they'll stay away. Tell them you've got a nuke, even if you're bluffing.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, but if you tell them, they're going to think you're bluffing. So you have to have a public demonstration someplace of, a nuclear blast, right? So I don't know where to do that. I'm just where should we have our nuclear blast demo? To
Parliament
act
Hill?
as a deterrent.
No.
You don't want to destroy anything. You don't want to hurt anybody.
No,
it's got to be someplace where you're not, actually there's a little.
How about where the wildfires are burning out in the middle of nowhere, Alberta?
Yeah, we could actually, that's not bad. We could do a good thing because we could explode it, just above the surface of the earth, and that would suck all the oxygen out of the atmosphere
Put the
and
fires out.
extinguish the blaze.
Bingo.
And so we could do a good deed while also effectively demonstrating our nuclear deterrent with our mini nuke.
Yeah. And killing everything in sight while you're at it.
Oh.
There's that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'd put the fires out.
Well, we don't want to do
Little
we don't
nuclear
actually want to
winter.
hurt nobody. No.
No.
I don't know.
Just get that idea out of your mind, Rick Walker.
Okay. All right. Screw the country. Screw the nukes. Forget it. Plans off. Everybody go back to sleep.
Just get a dog. Get a big dog.
I already have
they
one
come
of
for you.
those, and it's not much. He's not much of a deterrent.
You need a bigger dog, fierce dog, big old
Yeah,
Doberman.
No, I don't like that.
Not a cute little border
No,
collie.
No. You should
Border
see me
collie
walking
ain't
my
gonna
dog.
scare nobody.
Me walking my dog is hilarious. I'm so bad at training my dog. I'm just like, it's like, okay, like I'm just like, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. You know, my dog
He doesn't speak English.
Well, he runs. Well, he kind of does, right? He goes fetches my shoes and brings me my shoes when he wants to go for a walk.
Oh, good boy.
And he brings them to me. But then when we go, he's super hyper because he's so young. So he goes behind me. Right. Everybody's like, why don't you teach your dog to walk properly? I kind of like it, actually. He walks behind me and then he jumps on my left leg, and he wraps his front paws around me and makes me drag him down the street.
Wow.
Like a little kid, right? You ever do that when you were a kid? You grab onto the leg.
Yeah, don't go.
Right. And then you're like, and your dad would like walk and you'd be like attached to his leg, and he would like walk with you on his, that my dog does that to me. And he does that every time I walk him for the first half of the walk.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
It's a wonder you don't fall and break your neck.
I know.
With that dog hanging onto your leg.
And he probably weighs
the dog.
He probably weighs a good 35 to 37 pounds by now too, right? So it's like he's not going to get any bigger, but anyway.
So I guess I almost called your dog Maverick. You know, Cosmo. Scott Ritter's dog is Maverick, and I'm used to his dog Maverick. So,
yeah.
But yeah, your dog's Cosmo.
Cosmo. Yeah.
Cosmo the Wonder Dog.
Yeah.
And I still haven't met Fred the Freedom Fish.
Oh, he's over there. I just didn't turn the fish cam on again tonight, but he's still alive.
Yeah, I was hoping to be introduced to your new co-host. I see that you got sick of my shit and replaced me with a fish.
Well, he talks a lot less, so.
Yeah, that's right. I've been replaced by a fish, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, well, no, we're just adding to the talent, you know.
I've been replaced by a fucking fish.
He's more colorful.
Yeah, the audience likes him better too.
No, I don't know about that, but yeah, he does add a little bit of flair.
A cute fish, though.
He is a cute guy.
He's a real cute fish.
He's from Thailand.
Is he?
He is.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got a thing for Asian guys. Introduce me. Give him my number.
Okay, I'll do that. It could work out.
Tell him I'm single. I mean, just give him my number.
I don't know how you're going to get from here to where you are. I could just
ship him here.
No, I'll just take him down, throw him in the Thames River. He'll navigate his way out into the Great Lakes, then up the St. Lawrence Seaway, or I don't know. That's going the wrong way, though. He's got to
send him down to Colorado. I'll meet him in Austin.
Okay, all right.
Here you go. We'll have our rendezvous in Texas.
Dating a fish.
This conversation took an interesting turn, didn't it?
It certainly did, didn't it? Weird. It's been a really weird night. Yeah. MK Ultra, mind control, hypnosis, assassinations, dogs, and fish. In an era of censorship.
All that at a bag of chips.
That's right. And we'll have more. And this was what may be the first and last episode of Truspiracies. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something more with it. But yeah, thanks for joining us on the channel tonight, everybody.
I won't be back because I've been replaced by a fish.
Oh, no, you're coming back. We're going to there's plenty of room for everybody that we need on the show. We need you.
I love you, Rick Walker. Thanks.
We love you too, Lori. And folks, we will return tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Maverick News Channel, where we have the antivirus programs for your mind. And I have to find the closer thing here. Where did you go? Every night I go looking for it, and oh, there it is right there. I found it. Catch you on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.